We recorded this podcast a while ago, but in the last couple of days we found the answer to a question that quite a few Glitterband fans have asked over the years, so we thought we'd do a quick update. The person who started the ball rolling was Craig Jeffrey, a recent purchaser of the John Joe tracks Ulai Ulai La and Hey Girl that we've spoken about in previous podcasts.
Craig asked whether we had any information about the 1978 single by Nevada Brown, which was titled Crazy Hotel, and people will know that this was produced by Mike Leander and Jerry Shepherd. Amazingly, and I don't think that's overstating it, Vincent Edwards, who co-wrote the B-side, posted a comment on YouTube only a few days ago. So obviously we asked him about Nevada Brown.
And Vincent mentioned that the singer was Troy Dante and that Troy was working with Dave D, a familiar name, at WA Records. He stated that the musicians who played on the record must have been the Glitter Band, which would have been Jerry, Mike, and probably Harvey on sax. The song is a cover of a UK 60s band Nirvana track, the original Nirvana. Andy, I heard a few years ago that the singer was some bloke that someone found in a pub. As Troy Dante worked for WEA at the time, that's obviously not right.
No. I think we won't go into too many details now, as we'll cover the song itself in a future Jerry Shepherd podcast. But actually, Troy Dante did put out about a dozen singles in the 1960s.
On to the podcast. Hi, Andy.
Hi there, Warren.
And I'd love to say we've had some nice feedback from our last episode, but that would be a lie. We're recording this one only a few days later. But as always, all feedback is welcome, good and bad.
Yes, of course. I'm sure that anybody who's listening to this podcast has heard part one of it. So I don't think we'll really explain what this one's about. The name of the podcast obviously gives it away anyway.
We're fortunate to have the usual suspects with us again. No offence intended, everyone. Before we start with the podcast proper, each of us is going to briefly talk about the first time we saw the Glitter Band in concert. And as always, we'll start with Susan Shepherd. Hi, Susan.
Hi, everyone. Well, hello. I came late to watching the Glitter Band live because my mum would never let me out, even with a guardian, to watch the Glitter Band when they were in their heyday. So I'm afraid I didn't see them till about 1990, 91. I think I've pinned it down to about those years. I remember Jerry was wearing a gold leather jacket with fringed sleeves.
I know so
that's
jacket
the sort of
well.
Go on.
That was my jacket.
You're joking?
No, I'm not joking at all. They had the silver one, or you had the silver one. And I remember going with a fan called Debbie Tomset to Johnson's or in King's Road or Covent Garden.
I've been
and
there.
We'd seen them in there and didn't buy it. And I think I either went again on my own or with my sister, maybe even Debbie, and got it about 2 weeks later from one of those two. I can't remember which one it was. And I always felt such a pillock taking it. I never really put it on. And showed it to Jerry, and I just said, do you want it? And so I gave it to Jerry to use for the shows.
So would I have been right about 1990, 91, something along those years?
Yeah, 19, yes, absolutely, yeah.
I'm glad my memory hasn't let me down that so much. I don't remember where I saw them again. It was in a marquee at the back of an American diner somewhere near Marlborough. And I have asked some of my friends that live in the area. They think it may have been the Klondike Roadhouse. It was in Froxfield. But yeah, I mean, I don't know whether the Glitter Band ever came to Andover, where I live, but certainly in the 60s and 70s, bands like Slade, Sweet, Mungo Jerry, Casey and the Sunshine Band, Bay City Road, Hot Chocolate, they all played the Country Bumpkin in Andover. I don't know whether the Glitter Band ever came there, but unless I said, Mum wouldn't have let me out anyway. So late to see them live, but better late than never.
Yeah.
Thank you, Susan. Andy, did Debbie run the fan club with you? Have I got that right?
That's right, yeah. Yeah. In about that period of time, yeah.
Joe.
Hello.
Hi, Joe.
Hello, Joel.
Hi, Joel. First time I saw a Glitter Band, well, I saw them with Gary Glitter, but in their own right, Monday, May the 13th, 1974, in my old hometown of Exeter at St George's Hall, which is still there, and it's called something else now which escapes me. But all I can remember is they were wearing white clothes, and it was part of a youth club type thing that brought together all parts of the city, with mixed results. Not the band, I mean putting all the youths together. And that was the first time.
That's very early, Joe, because I think those white clothes might have been the Angel Face costumes. Have we all seen that promo video of Angel Face?
Yeah.
And I think there's a Top of the Pops thing as well where they're wearing white.
Yeah, that's similar gear.
Wow, it's incredible.
But I wish I could. It's funny, I can't really. When I try and record gigs, because I've seen so many, but I just can't remember large chunks of it. I suppose it's getting old, really.
But Joe, you did write down the set list for those gigs.
Yeah, that was at the time. It's. I wish I'd done that for every single gig I've been to, but various reasons and consumption problems.
Oh, yeah, you say that, but I'm going to tell everyone this story. In our pre-show chat, I mentioned the name of this venue, and Joe remembered the day that he saw them on. So considering your consumption, Joe, I think you're doing pretty well somehow.
Yeah, I think what it is like when you can remember a lot of things when you're younger, but your memory gets full up with stuff and this and that, I've seen so many gigs. I've seen thousands of shows, and then someone will go, "Oh yeah, I saw that." I saw the Glitter Band quite a few times, and Gary Glitter, but I can't tell you exactly. Apart from those that you got the set list for, I couldn't remember. I saw them in Taunton once, which is near Exeter. But I couldn't tell you the date.
But at the time, you wrote down the date because we have those dates. Remember, you posted them on Facebook. When was that? About 2 years ago?
Yeah. It's good to look at that stuff. I don't know whether the band members have kept stuff like that.
No, they haven't.
No, I know. I saw that
Definitely
interview
not.
with Jerry and Peter, and they said, "Do you keep all the stuff?" And he said, "No." He didn't keep nothing apart from a scrapbook of stuff from magazines and that. And Peter said he left a load of stuff like clothes and platform boots in the place he used to live.
I think John Springate's mum kept a Facebook. Sorry, not Facebook. Kept a scrapbook. I think John Springate's mum did keep a scrapbook.
Yeah, he was going to throw it. I heard a story he was going to chuck it all away, and then he was dissuaded from doing it, apparently. Or he was going to sell them or something.
In those days, now, if I go and see the Glitter Band now, I'd hang around and speak to them. In those days, that didn't even enter my head. The gig finished, I was gone.
Yeah.
It's just a time thing, I think, and I was...
Besides that, I used to hang around and bottle out of actually saying anything.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It'd be, you go and speak to him. No, you go and speak to him. You go and speak to him.
Yeah. There's that, yeah.
And also, it would have been pretty... The time you saw them, Joe, it would have been pretty hectic. On that tour, they were doing a lot of gigs, so I think they would have been in and out pretty quickly, and there would have been so many fans wanting to speak to them. I suspect they got away pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think in those days a lot of bands just played, came off stage, tailed down and went. Whereas, as time progressed, as time progressed, people hung around to sign stuff and that. If you were lucky to catch them.
I've got the set list. I've got your set list in front of me, Joe. And they played
Right.
We've Got to Get Out of This Place that night.
The Animals.
Yeah, they played that track. Every other track was sort of Hay related, apart from that one.
Right. Well, they did. Yeah, that's good. I should imagine they did that when they were doing the clubs before they, like a lot of those covers that they did over time. I would imagine that it was like stuff that they did when they were in the Bostons and doing the, coming up through the clubs and doing the top 40 stuff. That's what I would imagine. I don't know.
Well, with that song, that sounds right, doesn't it? Because the Boston started in the mid-'60s, so that's exactly the sort of track they would have done.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joe. Richard?
Yeah, first time I saw them on their own was a place called the Tameside. I think it was the Hippodrome. Tameside Theatre. It might have been the Tameside Theatre or Tameside Hippodrome. That was 1977. I'm just trying to think if they went under the name Glitter Band or G Band on that. I really don't know.
I
don't
think
know if anyone else would know that.
Yeah, I think for that tour they just changed back to the Glitter Band, I think.
Right.
Richard, the great thing about that show you saw is I think they only did about 8 shows in the middle of that year, and they were a bit scattered, so it wasn't a formal tour. So you were very fortunate to see them then. And are there any sort of different tracks you can remember apart from the usuals?
They did Almost American, definitely. Remember that.
Really?
Yeah, definitely did that. I think they did a few off Paris Match.
Yep.
I'm sure they did a Really Didn't Love Her At All sort of sticks a little bit as if they might have done that.
They did a radio show for Capital Radio a few months earlier, and they did Almost American, and they did I Really Didn't Love Her At All on that show, so it would make sense that they were doing them live.
And did the other thing I can't remember, did Peter Oxendale play with them live on that tour?
Pretty sure he did.
On keyboards? Yeah.
I think there was Lorraine Hammond, who, if anyone's ever near Jerry Shepherd's Facebook site, Lorraine digs up this amazing stuff. And Lorraine was there on that tour, or on a couple of shows for that at that time, I should say, because it wasn't really a tour, they were one-off shows. She's got photos, all sorts of things. And I think they used to distinguish between the two Peters. It was Big Pete and Little Pete, and Peter Oxendale was known as Little Pete. So there's a bit of trivia.
The other thing that stands out is John Springate had a beard on that, and at first you're thinking, who's that on bass?
Yeah.
Took a minute to sort of think, oh, I mean, it's John with a beard, like. But I remember, unfortunately, it wasn't particularly well attended.
Richard, I got the old fan club newsletters from that time, and those 77 gigs really don't get mentioned. So they just got no promotion. And I mentioned Lorraine Hammond before, and her source of Glitter Band gigs at that time was, wait for this, John Springate's mum.
Right.
Lorraine had a number, and she used to ring her up and badger her, and she'd say, oh yes, love, they're playing here, here, and here. So there was no promotion.
Right.
I mean, I know it's many years ago, Richard, but can you remember how you found out about that gig? Was it a local newspaper or something like that?
I think it must have been in, because I'm in Middleton.
Yep.
I don't know, it must have been in the Manchester Evening News or something like that. Because the Tameside sort of, Manchester way. Ashton, sorry, that's where it is. So unless it was in our local we had what was called the Middleton Guardian. It must have been through a newspaper I saw it. Can't think of any other way I would have heard about it. Unless it was local radio, possibly. But I can't honestly remember, for definite. Must have been radio or newspaper.
Andy?
It wasn't until 81 that I saw them. But obviously I'd seen Harvey and Tony in the band with Gigi. But yeah, so 81 I saw them. I don't remember them doing a gig on their own in 81. They may have done, but certainly they did a few in 82. What have you, and then obviously 84 they started getting busier because it was the 4-piece with Eddie, Pete, John and Jerry. But yes, I didn't see them until 81.
Right, and they were playing... So was that in the middle of Gary's set, was it, when they played, Andy? They played their two songs? Was it 2 songs? Okay.
Ordinarily, yeah.
What would the 2 songs have been at that time? That's really stretching it, I know.
Well, I'm pretty sure it would have been same as always, Angel Face and Goodbye My Love.
Until right at the end, where I think Goodbye My Love was replaced with Rock On for those gigs. And I think you've mentioned this before, Eddie. I think there was a bit of management interference. Can we put it that way? Was that?
Yeah, I think so. They wanted the show to keep moving, and Gary centred as much as possible, and I think that's the reason why it was swapped.
Well, if they were doing Rock On, they would have got Glitter would have got more royalties for it. Yeah, that's true.
Well, a little bit, tiny bit from a live show. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that that's true, but that's just my opinion.
No, I think it was the whole aesthetic, I think, that made that happen. I got a feeling I had a chat about it once. But
why do a Glitter cover when they got their own stuff when they only got a short amount of time?
I seem weird, to remember they were persuaded to do it, but we can find out why that happened. John would remember.
Kerching.
Thanks, Andy. And that leaves me. And I first saw them play their own set when I first saw Gary Glitter. And that was in July 1974. And they played a couple of songs. They played Angel Face and they played one other. Now, at the time, I didn't have the Angel Face single, so I can't tell you whether they played its B-side, You Wouldn't Leave Me, Would You, or not. But what I can say is that was in Melbourne, and that was on a Wednesday. Now, I think on the Friday and Saturday night, they'd played 2 shows in Sydney. They went back and played another one there later on. But anyway, the Melbourne show was one of 4, and I think it was the 3rd out of the 4 shows. But going back to the Saturday night, or the Friday night in Sydney, Saturday night it was, there is a recording of that gig. I don't know whether anyone else has heard that. Andy, I think you've heard that gig, haven't you, from Sydney?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Glitter Band set was one song. It was only Angel Face, because the set order was changed around. When they played Sydney, Gary opened with Hello, Hello, I'm Back Again. Now, by the time I got to Melbourne, they were opening with I Didn't Know I Loved You Till I Saw You Rock and Roll. And I think, Andy, we discussed this on another podcast. What we think probably happened was they got to play the second song because Gary had a costume change, which was probably taking longer than the time it took them to play Angel Face. So I suspect I was lucky to see 2 songs. So I asked this maybe the Angel Face podcast asked this question, so I'll ask it again. Can anyone remember what the second song was on that 74 tour? Maybe in some of the shows in Britain they played 2 songs, but I would love to know what the song was. So if anyone out there saw them on that tour, saw them play 2 songs, please put a post up on Facebook and tell me. Okay, so we all ready to hear the first song?
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here it comes. Who do we think picked that song for Always and Ever?
Susan.
Right, that's worked well again.
Am I that
She's gone to sleep.
Predictable. So am I that
that
predictable?
Right?
We got it in one. Susan?
Yeah. Yes. It's For Always and Ever. That's my song. Yeah. Yeah. So.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Susan, this wasn't one of your original first 2 choices, though, was it?
No, I wasn't allowed my first, one of
Well,
my
you
first
lost.
choices. Do you remember? If I lost, yeah. So, Warren contacted me and said, you can't have Do You Remember, because somebody else has already chosen it, and he put my names in the hat. He had a hat then, because he said he put the names in the hat, and pulled one out, and I lost, so I wasn't allowed Do You Remember. So I've got three
Nasty
tunes in
man.
this list. So yeah. For
Sorry.
Always and Ever. So that's how I chose it, and I said to Warren, let me listen to some songs, and the one that I put on repeat is the one I'm going to choose. And I put on Rock and Roll Dudes, and For Always and Ever came on. I just kept playing it over and over on repeat. I thought, this is it, this is it, this is it. So that's the way I chose this song. It's a It's a love song with a rock beat, isn't it? It's got the classic glitter band stomping, drumming, clapping, saxophone. It's brilliant. I use that word a lot, but I just think it's lovely. There are bits in there that I think are reminiscent of Herman's Hermits, and they were influenced by 60s music, weren't they? So, maybe that came from them, or maybe I'm completely mistaken. But it's just it's a happy song. It's a determination to make a love affair work and to keep going at it. And can you play it again, please? Thank you.
Sonically, it was a great song. The guitar is fantastic, and
just love it.
the vocal and everything. Yeah,
That was written by John Springett and John Russell, wasn't it?
yes.
There can't be many. I don't think they wrote together that often, did they?
I think John had written the outline of the song, then I think he took it to JR. I think that's how the process worked. JR talked about that, Richard. He said that because John was signed to Southern Music, which means he wasn't part of the normal RAM, Mike Leander company type thing, that he was discouraged from writing with John Springate at the time.
Ah, right. Yeah,
Well,
makes
from
sense.
what the stories we've heard on here, Mike Leander ran a quite close. He was very much in charge, wasn't he? He ran a very close, tight knit ship. From what I've picked up. So maybe that's the case. I could believe it anyway.
I think that's dead right, Susan. Joe, what do you think of the song?
I like it. I was playing my best of the Glitter Band yesterday, and that's on there. And I think it's a good sing-along song, and it's great. It's got
It's great.
their stomp, and it's a great little number, and it's on my list. Best of list, I mean.
And Richard?
Yeah, great song. I mean, that whole album for me is that's their best album for me. Rock and Roll Dudes, anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I pretty much like everything on it, to be honest. So yeah, great song, that one. Yeah.
The strange thing is that in 1975, when they did a lot of gigs, it appears, this is going from your set list, Joe, and from Music Paper Reviews, and I think you've got a couple of set lists from that time, they didn't play that song. I just don't understand that. Live. They didn't.
I can't find a video of it anywhere either.
It's a very catchy and memorable song, so it's a shame. I don't know why.
But there must be songs that every band's got songs that they're not keen on. Perhaps that they weren't keen on. I don't know. I you know more than I do whether they actually. And sometimes they drop stuff that they don't like, don't they, bands? I don't know.
It appears they never played that one. Over the duration of 75, I think they might have played either 9 or 10 tracks off that album, most of the album. Susan, I think that's a really interesting point you've brought up about Herman's Hermits and that song. And I'm thinking maybe, it's a different melody, obviously. I'm thinking of a song like I'm Into Something Good.
Yeah.
Which is just a pure pop song. And I think For Always and Ever is the same thing. I think it's just a pure pop song.
Yeah.
It's funny you should say that because some time ago, a few years ago, I listened to a newish song on the radio, and it sounded so much like that I was singing that along to this song, and I wish I could remember what it was.
Are you thinking of the Canaan song?
I don't know. I can't remember what it was, but this song came. You know, sometimes a song will come on the radio and it's so obviously ripped off something else. I don't know whether this was done subconsciously or it just because there's only so many chords. But I thought, God, this sounds so much like For Always and Ever. I couldn't tell you who it was by. Or
there's a song by an artist called Canaan, I think it is, and it's a raising flag, and it is the same chorus. I mean, he'd be very, very, very unlikely that he would have heard the Glitter Band song.
What year was that?
Probably around 2011.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
I remember,
was it a hit? I don't bother with the charts anymore.
Yeah. So it was called Waving Flag. I remember Springy commenting on it when I posted it up because I mixed the two into each other.
Right. That's why I must have heard it then. If it was a hit, I must have heard. I used to listen to the radio. I don't anymore.
What did Springy have to say, Andy?
Oh, just the saying it's not enough of the song in it to sue, basically, something like that. Yeah.
But where did they take, like you say about Herman's Hermits and that, everything comes from somewhere.
It does, yeah.
It's very hard to be original these days, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Here's the next one. Guessing time.
Richard.
Andy.
Andy.
Andy?
Yes, it is me, I have to confess. Yes. It was a choice between this and I Can Hear Music for me, really. I could have gone either way. And other songs, but I plumped for this in the end, I think. Don't think you overrode me or anything, Warren. They said you can't have that.
No, there was no, Andy. What happened was I lost out on that one, Andy.
Oh, did you really?
I did. Well. I actually did put our names in a hat, by the way. I'm not making that up. That happened for both the Susan thing and Joe thing and you and I. I put our two names in a hat and your name came out. And that's why I went for Almost American. It was my first preference. I picked this song as well. So you won, Andy.
Wow. Good.
Which means you get to talk about it.
Well, you can talk about it as well. Why did I pick it? Just different, really. I just took the view with what we're trying to do here, with selecting these songs. We're not selecting our favourites, but we're trying to select something that's, we might want to bring to the attention of somebody who's starting to listen to the Glitter Band. They've got much more depth to them than all the stompy stuff. And that's why I picked this song. I can tell you it's more of a Pete Phipps song than a Jerry song. Jerry helped Pete with it. Pete had written it pretty much.
But I think Jerry might have written the lyrics, because I've seen sleeve notes somewhere where he talks about the lyrics. So I gather what you're saying is that Pete wrote the music.
Yeah, I mean, may have had the chorus, I had a picture, and then trying to fill a song out with lyrics. Jerry may have helped with that, yeah.
So the music base is Pete, and you've got
Yeah.
Jerry just doing his stuff over the top of it.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
What's interesting about that song is most of the tracks on Rock and Roll Dudes have a lot of production. There's not so much production on this one. To an extent, it sounds like they're there playing it.
Well, there's 2 guitar parts, though, isn't there?
Yeah.
True, but maybe we could say, I think the same applies to Write Me a Letter, Richard. I think that's pretty basic in terms of production, and there are 2 guitar parts on that as well and some sax. But I think those 2 tracks, they're produced more simply. There aren't hand claps, there aren't chants and things like that.
Yeah, but I think the arrangement's quite complicated, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there's two completely separate guitar parts. There's like a slide guitar part and then more a pick.
Yep.
So I presume Jerry will have played both, but maybe not. I don't know.
No, it would have been Jerry for sure.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it, Andy? I'm sure it would have been. Jerry played all the guitar parts on the records, didn't he, Andy?
I think John may have played some. It's one of the questions that we've got to ask him when we do the podcast with him and Pete. Generally Jerry would have, done all the guitar parts. He probably did the most work on the albums musically. But I think for me, that's when I hear everybody saying should have stuck to the glitter theme and every song should have been glitterized and stuff. No, I don't get that. I think it's refreshing that we heard different styles on Rock and Roll Dudes. That really picked me up going into that, thinking, oh yeah, there's more depth to this band than I thought.
Well, Rock and Roll Dudes, I think they demoed about 24 tracks, and there are quite a few tracks that you could say that had the potential to be glitterized that were demoed. So it seems it was a deliberate move to put on a couple of tracks that weren't like that were different.
Yeah.
So they had plenty of other tracks that were in the glitter stomping style, but they chose, maybe with this one and Write Me a Letter, to do a couple that weren't.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree, Andy. I think it gives the album a bit of variety and it gives it a bit of depth.
Yeah, yeah.
So the question is, do we reckon that it's a true story, or do we think...
I was going to ask that, if anyone knows if it's about anyone in particular.
Well, Richard, in one of the sleeve notes, he talks about it's being written about someone, but he won't say who it is. But I'm just wondering whether he maybe got some inspiration from Elton John's Candle in the Wind, which was released a couple of months earlier, and thought I'll write some lyrics like that. I guess the answer is we're never going to really know, are we?
Not unless someone actually does know. No.
Well, yeah, Pete might know.
But is there a clue in that dye in your hair thing?
There could be a lot of people, though, couldn't it, Richard?
Yeah. But I was
They
thinking
only
of
had
someone
one
in
hit,
particular.
according to the lyrics.
Say that again, please, Joe.
According to, unless I heard it wrong, it said in the lyrics, your only hit or your one hit. So, am I right?
No, I think it's where you dyed your hair.
You're still singing the lyrics to your only hits?
Yeah, that's it. There you go.
Well, it's probably a sort of one of his, if you're talking about, potentially a pin-up from the 60s or something, one...
Oh, right.
I don't know.
I always thought it was about GG.
Nah.
Because the clothes don't fit and the hair dye.
Joe, what do you think of the song?
It's okay. It's... going back to what I think it was Andy was saying about glitterizing stuff, I sort of prefer that stuff. Not that I wanted every song to sound like that, but I just think they were playing to their strength. You should play to your strength, and that to me was their strength. Was playing.
Yeah, I don't think you can have a
stuff.
whole album followed by another whole album followed by another.
No. And when you come
that.
And when you come to my choice, which I won't say, you'll see. I see how that sort of progressed, but you'll get what I mean when it comes to my song in a minute. But I just thought that was their strength, was that, and obviously that's not got a long shelf life. That sort of style, which was proven, it's 2 or 3 years really, all that stuff, and unless, where are you going to go after that? Which proved again with them when they were going down this reggae thing and the disco thing and rock songs. So they didn't really know which way to go. But yeah, I appreciate the song. I wish I knew who it was about.
Susan?
Yeah, I'm with Joe on this. I mean, I think I prefer. I do prefer the stomping glitter band sound, traditional sound, and I understand what Andy says about them. Needing to sort of branch off and do some different things and make a different sound on the albums. And I think we've talked about it before. They seem to have, on Paris Match as well, seem to try different things to see which way they were going. So perhaps this was the start of that. I don't know whether anyone's listened to there's on YouTube, there's a demo version of this from 1975. Anyone's listened to that? Because when I typed it in to listen to different versions of this one came up, and I actually think the demo version is easier to listen to. It's more musical. And my husband said cleaner. But I don't know. There's not a lot of repetition. You can't really sing along to it apart from the chorus. But it is telling a story. Like we'd like to know about who the story was about, whether it's complete work of fiction or whether it is based on somebody. But it's it's okay. It's not one of it's not one of the ones I'd put on repeat and play again. But I do appreciate the music in it.
Yeah, I think it's this thing about, we're not choosing our favourite songs per se. We're just trying to draw some attention to stuff that's,
Yeah, and I can understand why that one's been picked. I mean, this is a different one, isn't it? I mean, when the comments I made about Almost American, it was my first real shock of, this is really, really different. I can still hear the glitter band in Pictures of You, but it's different to the first singles, that's for sure. And this was just on the album, wasn't it? This is just on the album.
Yeah,
it wasn't ever released, was it? Just it was just on.
It was covered though, Andy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It was a cover version.
Yeah,
I really like it. I think it's probably one of the strongest songs on the album.
Phoenix or something covered it, didn't they? Was it Phoenix?
It was Phoenix.
Right. Is that on YouTube or anything, Andy? That?
Yeah.
Oh right.
If you can't find it, let us know. We've got it.
Yeah.
I will at some point.
Does it follow the same? Is it the same sort of arrangement or?
No. I just wonder if it's any more near the demo rather than the album version. It's backing vocals on it, and
I think Jerry might play guitar on that,
on
the Phoenix version.
Yeah, probably.
And was it issued as a single?
Yeah, it was.
What year would that be?
I think it was 1975, Richard.
Oh, right, so it's around the same time.
I think it was produced by Mike Leander. It sounds like Mike's playing drums on it. Jerry's played guitar, so I'm guessing that Mike has got in a singer to do a different version of it. Don't know if Phoenix existed,
right?
But
what label? Do you know what label it was on? Was it on Bell? Was it? No.
As Andy said, we can tell you. What definitely wasn't on Bell, Richard.
No.
It was it was not on Bell.
Mm-hmm.
But look, it's worth a listen.
Right. Yeah. Great.
Dawn Records. It was on Dawn Records.
Dawn.
Adrian Baker.
That's right. Yes, and I think Adrian Baker was involved with Eddie Seago, who was Mike's right-hand man.
That's
Andy.
right.
So that's where the connection's coming from. So maybe Adrian Baker's, we don't know, but there is definitely a connection with Mike Leander.
I don't think Mike Leander produced it. I think it's Adrian Baker, actually. We'll have to look.
I'm thinking of another track. Or did Adrian Baker produce the B-side? We have to look, don't we?
We'll have to check it out.
Yep. So, Richard, have you got a bit more to say about the song?
No, just I really like it. I like the two guitar parts, that make it a bit different, and I just think it's a good lyric. It's a good lyric.
Mm-hmm.
So, like Susan said, I think it's another of those story one. What did we say last? We said about one other one being Oh, it was. I'm celebrating one. It was just saying there's no chorus on that one, and it's just a story. I suppose this has got a chorus with that "Could You Love Me Too" bit, but it is a story, innit, from start to finish.
Back into the hat.
Early in the morning, I can see the rising sun. Mother Nature spreads her wings. The day has just begun, but I'm leaving. It's hard to settle down. Say goodbye to this cold, lonely town. Girl, you stood beside me after all that we've been through. Endless tours of one-night stands, I still come back to you. You're so easy, but it's hard to settle down. Can't keep my feet on the ground. But when the big time comes around, I buy you everything I couldn't get before. And you'll be such a sight to see. You'll be such a sight to see.
So before we talk about this song, Andy, I've just had a look. You are absolutely right. Pictures of You was produced by Adrian Baker, not Mike Leander.
Oh, right, okay.
Guessing time once more.
Warren.
Yes, yes, Joe, you're right. Was that someone's dog that agreed?
That's my
Wasn't mine.
that's my dog Charlie.
So Charlie agreed. Charlie said Warren
definitely.
as well.
Charlie.
Yeah, definitely.
Well done, Charlie. Yeah, it was me. This is another song of Paris Match. So I've picked two off Paris Match, which I can assure everyone was not deliberate. But the reason I've picked this track is that I think, like Almost American, this is atypical of the album. I don't think it's like the other tracks. Now, maybe it almost sounds like you've got two songs. You've got a verse and then the chorus. I think they're quite different. It was co-written by John Springate and Mike Leander. And the thing with me about this song is that I love the chorus of this song. I think it's very catchy. There's a bit of a call and response. And again, where it's differentiated from the vast majority of Paris Match, Andy mentioned in the last podcast that I think the harmonies were generally done by Springy, Jerry and Mike. Is that right, Andy?
Yeah.
Yeah, on this and listen to the band, I think they generally worked in Paris. On this track, if you put on a set of headphones, you can clearly hear Jerry. And so the backing vocals have a different character about them. The other thing with this song is that hidden away are some beautiful guitar parts by Jerry, little riffs and things just going on. Yes, but so melodic, Andy. They're just beautifully melodic. So and and there's a lot of guitar in this. I mean, Paris Match has quite a lot of keyboard on it. I think, Andy, again, you mentioned that in the last podcast. Apart from obviously Almost American, but this one has I think there's quite a few guitar parts. Richard, have you ever good listen to this song? And have you ever counted the guitar parts?
I haven't. No, I haven't listened to it that closely, unfortunately. But does someone? Springy's obviously singing the. Is someone else singing the chorus, or is he just using a sort of a different sort of voice on it?
I think it's a different.
When the big time comes around bit.
Yeah, I think he's using a different voice. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I think so. Jerry might be in there low in the mix, but the interesting thing is I haven't listened to this stuff on headphones for a long, long time, and you do pick out different things. Also, I think Clean Feed itself, as it's compressing the streaming, you hear it slightly differently. I hear the stereo mix slightly differently on here.
I think This is off the CD. I think that CD is overly compressed. I think that's a combination. That and clean feed, I think, probably kills a lot of the dynamics. When it builds up to that rousing sort of chorus right at the end of the song, you can clearly hear Jerry, and it's just not the standard Paris Match type harmonies. There's quite a lot happening there musically. This is coming from non-musician, but I think there is. And I like Harvey Ellison's soprano sax at the end. And you're probably thinking, how would he know it's soprano sax? Well, that came from Harvey. He did a radio interview for the album, and he was plugging Lay Your Love on Me. But before he got to speak about Lay Your Love on Me, the DJ played Hard to Settle Down. And the DJ said, we've got Harvey Ellison, blah, blah, blah. What do you think of that song? Harvey said it's a lovely song. And he said, my only complaint is I would have liked to push the soprano sax to be pushed up a little at the end of the song. So I got a big tick from Harvey. Susan, what do you think of the song?
Surprisingly, I really like it. It's not one that I thought I would do. It's not one that I've listened to a lot either. I think it's a bit, and I've said this before about comparing it to other bands and tracks, but it's a bit Beatles for me. I can hear the Beatles in there.
I hear a bit of 10cc
Yeah.
as well,
Yeah.
who are influenced by the Beatles.
Yeah.
And
Who wasn't?
At that time, dead right, Joe. At that time, I was listening to a lot of 10cc. Now, you're probably all thinking, oh, he wasn't listening to punk or new wave like I know a lot of glitter fans were. Well, that's because in Australia, punk and new wave happened in about 1982, Joe.
Right.
That's how long it took. It just didn't happen. I heard a short clip of Anarchy in the UK, the chorus, and I thought, this is great. They only played about 20 seconds of it. I think it was probably banned or something. And I bought a flexi disc the next year. I think it was Elvis Costello, The Damned, and Ian Drury. I hadn't heard any of those songs. Went across the local shop to listen to them. The only album they had in stock was Elvis Costello's first album, but they had one copy and wouldn't let me listen to it.
Ah,
Oh, nasty.
Sorry, Susan, I cut you off. Could you continue, please?
No, that's fine. The chorus is foot tapping. I can also hear it. ELO's Mr. Blue Sky in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
another band that was influenced by the Beatles.
Yeah,
Oh,
big
that-
time.
Big time.
So there's nothing wrong with my hearing then.
No.
Hey?
Thank you, pardon. It's my husband likes this one as well, and I can clearly hear Jerry's voice. I can clearly hear it. I know in the and I've done quite because when I first started taking part and being on the forums and the Facebook pages, I remember saying that the voices of Jerry and John were at times indistinguishable. So I've listened, and I listened very carefully to which one is which, and I know now which is which, and I can clearly hear Jerry on this.
So Susan, that's two. We've had that song in this episode, and in last month's episode we had nothing at all, which you liked.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful, isn't it?
I'm yeah. I mean, they're bringing back listening to these songs that on my playlist. There's all the was made up for the Glitter Band, and it's all their hits, all their well-known songs. But going back to listen to these album tracks and these lesser-known tracks, it's been a real fantastic experience for me. I've loved every second of it. So, thank you for the suggestion of the topic, because it's they're songs that I will be listening to more and more.
Well, let's hope some of our listeners might feel the same.
Absolutely, yeah.
Joe.
I haven't listened to that since probably the album came out. I'm one of these people that cherry picks, right? I've always been the same. Like when cassettes came out, it was just brilliant for me because I could make up like mixtapes and compilations, and I've never included that on any Glitter Band compilation that I've done. But listening to it now, I think I get really great backing vocals on it. Not one of my favourite songs by a long way, but I appreciate it. And I can see and here by listening to that, where they were trying to go down another road as well.
Richard, would you like to say a little more?
No. It's all, only because it's all been said. I mean, I've got a few little notes here, but it's all been covered. So, I'd rather have had it as the A side than Lay Your Love on Me. Definitely as a single.
Next song. Okay, we have someone in Seattle and we have someone in Spain. So which one is it?
Joe.
Richard.
It is I.
Ricardo.
It
Ricardo.
is I. It is the Spanish
Juan.
person.
Oh.
Yeah. I bought this single. I only bought it about 3 months ago. And I probably hadn't heard that song more than about twice before I bought it. And I've got it on my jukebox now, and it's fast becoming one of my favourites of all their songs. It's just got a right good hook in it, that chorus. It's
got a new wavy
gets me
feel
that-
to it, I think.
Yeah. It's I think it's so catchy that really should have. I think if they'd have given it to someone else, that could have been a smash. That
It was 1982, Joe.
I've never heard it
Yeah.
before. I've never heard it till now.
Ah, right, yeah.
And it was recorded in Sydney, would you believe?
I've got it down that it was recorded at John's studio.
No, it was because the story came from Brian Jones, who was playing in Gary's band with the Glitter Band at that time, playing sax. And he remembered landing in Sydney for a tour where they were playing with Gary, but they got to play a couple of their own songs.
Yeah.
And he said the first thing they did was go into a studio and record the Heartbeat to Heartache single and that song.
Oh yeah, I know that bit, but in the notes in the the big box of singles on CD.
Yep.
It said it was recorded at John's studio. That one, this song rather than Heartbeat.
Ah, yeah, but Brian, there's no sax on Heartbeat. There's only sax on this track.
Yeah.
And Brian's recollection
Oh, right.
is of recording it in Sydney.
Okay, right, good.
So either Brian's recollection is wrong, which I think is highly unlikely because Brian's got a terrific memory.
Yeah.
So I think the sleeve notes may not be right. We need to check that, Andy, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, don't forget the tape would have come back with them and it could have been worked on, finalised at Rockstar. I mean, it's actually mixed better than the A-side.
Yeah,
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's mixed far better.
Yeah.
I far prefer that. Far prefer I Don't Want to See You Tonight to the Heartbeat to Heartache.
Yeah.
Should have
Although I
been the
do
other way
like
round,
both
I
of them,
think.
to be. I do.
Yeah, I like
personally,
Heartbeat to Heartache.
I don't like both of them, but I think that's the strong. I think that's got a better hook. This one.
Yeah.
So that was on Cheapskate Records, which was Jim Lee and Frank Lee's of Slade. Well, Jim Lee of Slade and his brother. They set it up, didn't they? And yeah, so that's interesting how they ended up on that.
It was also released in Australia a few months after the UK release, and Heartbeat to Heartache was a different mix.
Oh.
And it's a better mix.
Right.
I'll be interested to hear that.
All right. Well, we might see if we can chuck that up on your YouTube channel at some stage,
Yeah,
Andy.
that'd be good.
Yep.
Is it a lot
I've still
different,
got my
Warren?
There's less keyboard, Richard.
And backing vocals, some backing vocals on it.
What label was that on?
that was on Interfusion, which is a local label which has some connection with Arista. Look, I'm sure that when Springy was in the country, I mean, look, this project would be John Springate's project, the single. So I would think when he was in Sydney, and I think when he was doing the recording, he would have been looking for a deal, I'm assuming, to get it released while he was there. Because, of course, this is pre-internet, so communicating between countries was difficult, you know.
Yeah.
Telegrams and fax machines and things. So I would think John organised it, because that tour with Gary, they were in the country for almost a month. So he had plenty of time to sort of organise a deal.
Yep.
That's an assumption. That may not have happened,
Yeah.
but I suspect it did happen. I suspect he was in the studio talking to people.
Yeah.
I think he worked out a
So
deal.
this would have been this will have been Tony Leonard on drums, wouldn't it? This single.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So would that? How many other singles was he on? There were, because we're talking about he didn't play on a lot of the earlier stuff.
He's on Until the Next Time, which
Right.
was Jerry, JR and Tony.
Mm,
He's on that.
right.
Can you think of any others, Andy?
No. Can't, I'm afraid.
That might be it.
Sorry, that was a bit blunt. But
No, no.
No,
So
it's
what are you
interesting.
saying that Pete did all the drums on the Glitterband albums and they double tracked it, or he did two
Yeah.
separate drum?
yeah, I mean,
right.
Hey may have been slightly different, but generally Pete pretty much did. If you had to say, I wouldn't want to put a percentage on it, but Pete drummed on virtually everything.
Wow. How did he feel? Nobody knows how Tony felt about that, I suppose.
Well, I shouldn't think he was
Over the
happy,
moon.
but it was what it was.
We've mentioned this a few times, that Tony was quite a distance from London. Pete lived close to London, and Mike literally lived at Mayfair Studios. He was around the corner from there, and he was spending a lot of time producing there. So, and the other thing is that Pete was part of the band 18 months before Tony. Tony joined in about November, no, it was early December 1973. So in fact, Tony joined the Glitter Band after they'd done their original Mayfair demos.
Also, legally speaking, as a legal entity, he only joined the band after JR left from a
That's
documented form.
no, that's right. He became a member. That's dead right, Andy. After JR left, he became a member. Susan, would you like to say a little bit more about the song?
Well, I've already said that I far prefer this track to the A-side Heartbeat to Heartache. I was afraid, when I first listened to it, I was afraid it really didn't get going to the chorus, but heck, if you give it a chance and wait for the chorus to come in, it's definitely, it's foot stomping, foot stamping. It's high energy. I can imagine the dance floor filling up really, really quickly when it comes on. Lots of saxophone. I just think it's a really brilliant track. I'm glad to be reunited with it, so thank you, Richard, very much for that.
Right.
Going to listen to it lots more times
Yeah.
than I already have.
Joe.
As I said earlier, it's got a sort of new wavy feel to me. And I'm with Richard, really, that if someone else had recorded it, that's not to belittle the Glitter Band at all, it would have been a big tune, because there was a lot of tunes with a very similar vibe to that at that time. I don't know if you agree or disagree with that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I agree, Joe. Andy.
I really like it as well. I listen to it quite often, I have to say. I just wish we'd had more of along the lines of Heartbeat to Heartache and I Don't Want to See You Tonight at that time.
Well, I'm another one who likes the song. I'm going to put a word in for Heartbeat to Heartache. I agree with Andy. I just think the mix was a bit muddy, which I think holds the song back a bit. I think the song was fine. Look, I like both tracks. It certainly probably should have been a double A side. It was a very strong single. And what's wonderful, in the previous episode, we talked about their next song from the 80s, Nothing at All, which I think we generally liked. And of course, there's also the stomping which is a slightly different, in terms of the band, the membership was slightly different, although Jerry Shepherd was in all of them. We had Until the Next Time, which is just a stop. Have you had Until the Next Time, Joe?
Yeah, I bought it.
You bought it?
Yeah, I got
What'd
the
you think of
7-inch.
What do you think of it?
I love it.
Yeah, it's a real stomper, isn't it?
It's on my best of the Clear band.
Yeah, what I think is it's just as Andy said, it's a wonderful they didn't do more in the 80s. I think they had 3 very strong singles, and they're all different. I love this one, a grandiose pop epic. Joe,
That was me.
it had to be you.
I love that song. I always judge music on an emotional basis, and that moves me. It still does now, and it was released as a single and did nothing. And I don't want to keep using it, but that glam Beach Boys tag that I come up with, it's very typical of on that and Loving the Sun, and that's the way I saw it going. Do you know what I'm saying? And excellent harmonies, a great single, and I don't know why it didn't do nothing. And a Christmassy vibe as well, sort of a little bit, not overly so. And I don't know how much, I don't know how much influence Mike Leander had on the actual sound of it. I should imagine quite a lot. He's a genius, that bloke.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised, like I say, surprised that it failed to chart. I just love it. I think it's a great song, and it's probably in my top 5.
Joe, Jerry Shepherd was a huge Beach Boys fan.
Yeah, I know. You can tell, and they're as good at their harmonies. To me, I'm not a huge Beach Boys fan by any means, but their harmonies to me are as good as some of the best Beach Boys stuff.
I think most of those harmonies are John Springate.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
But I think Mike and John, and there's probably a bit of Jerry, and I think Andy's also said that Mike was involved a bit in the harmony side of things. It's just beautifully constructed,
It's
isn't
great,
it?
and it's a great song. I think it's brilliant.
The harmony itself and the way it's used, if you know what I mean, its timing, where it comes in, like that almost that refrain of Alone Again. It's just, I just think it's a
Beautiful song, beautiful.
It is a beautiful song and a beautiful
And those
record.
harmonies make it. It's just the icing on the cake for me for that. I've still got the 7-inch. I've got it here actually.
Susan.
Well, this is one of the tracks I would have picked, but I already thought it was really well known, or better, more than it is. I mean, I think that might be because I play it and play it and play it and play it. Maybe it's just me that knows it back to front and inside out. But so it would have been one of my picks if I thought it was less well known than it is. It's definitely my favourite Glitter Band ballad. I love it. It's really strong. Jerry's vocals are, I think they're at their best on this track, really strong but clear. There's a raw edge when he goes into Alone Again. There's a raw edge to it, really powerful. I love, and no, you're gonna let me know what the technical term is, but I even love what sounds like a hiccup in the drum beat in the back.
Do you mean hi-hat? hi-hat sound.
Well, as the drums are beating in the back, there's like a little hiccup every so often. Listen to it again and see. Perhaps you'll see what I mean.
I think it is. I think it's a hi hat. I'm trying to think. It down.
Yes.
In there
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah.
That's high.
Yeah.
I think
It sounds like a hiccup.
I think it's an open hi hat.
Well, I feel I know every note of it. Certainly watch the video on YouTube where the balloons are bouncing about around them. I think it's a recording
Supersonic,
of Supersonic or Superchronic.
Yeah.
I think somebody could, but Supersonic.
Super chronic.
Yeah, I think. And the other thing is that more recently, my daughter Laura refers to her daughter Mabel as my girl. So it's and that's the word Jerry used. Every part of me loves this song. My heart, my head. I just absolutely adore it, and it's definitely, after Just For You, I think it's up there as my number 2 favourite Glitter Band song. Love it. Thank you, Joe.
My pleasure.
Ooh, I'm not the same part with this one, I'm afraid. It was released. I've put a note on it. It was released 14th of November, and I'm presuming the thought behind the sleigh bell type thing was it was going to creep into the chart in December, because I presume that's the only reason the sleigh belly type of things on the record. Do you think it was sort of seen as a possible Christmas? Yeah.
I always being too overt.
I like it. I like it a bit more now, but I can remember when it came out, I always found it depressing.
It is
because it's the slow sort of dun 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 dun, and I thought if it's trying to be a Christmas hit, I just thought that's going to go against it because it's too depressing to be a Christmas song, if that makes sense. I know that's the lyric is I'm alone again, and it's meant to feel that way, but I thought because it was if it had been released at a different time of year, possibly it wouldn't have mattered, but I just think people thought it was a bit too of a downer for Christmas, possibly.
It's a Shepherd Springate composition, but I hear a lot of Shepherd in that song.
Mm-hmm.
Getting back to what you were saying about the song, I first heard it on the album, listened to the band, and I can remember playing that album, and I can remember listening to Where Have You Been? Mm-hmm. Where Have You Been, I should say. And I listened to Where Have You Been, and I thought, this is great. So I think I've said before, I was listening to a bit of 10cc at that time, and I'm thinking, hang on, this is at least as good as 10cc, this song. So I played it again and again, put it on a cassette, played it to a couple of my mates, and they said, who is it, the Glitter Band? And the response was, no, it isn't. So that went well. Yeah, exactly. That's what it was like. I'm sure that was the same everywhere, you know. They were too cool. They were too cool for that. They just said, no, it isn't. They couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And I said, all right. Showed them the album, and they just go, yeah. I played the first side. I love Where Have You Been, played the first side. Yep. Played the second side, Dream Baby, great. The other tracks, pretty good. The problem I had, and it gets a little bit back to what you were saying, Richard, it just, the first time, it passed me by. It seemed to be, it probably had a wide dynamic range, which meant there were some very quiet bits and some quite loud bits, and it just didn't really cut through on the album, and I suspect that's why. I mean, look, I love the song. I suspect that's why it commercially failed, and I think the version they did on Supersonic was probably more commercial than the version they released, which has a guitar.
Yeah, the guitar.
It does, actually.
The solo guitar is brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
It is a nice break,
fantastic.
Susan. I think that's just a more commercial mix. Jerry's voice is pushed up a bit. I think the record, when I got my first Glitter Band CD with that song on it, that was a song I listened to on cans, and it sounded fantastic through headphones. But I can understand why at the time it probably didn't work quite so well on radio. I think the song's great, but it just, as a radio type mix, I don't think it would have cut through. Was that the same year as Mud's Lonely at Christmas, or was
I
that
was
the
just
year
going to
before?
say, have you heard Lonely This Christmas by Mud? Because that's a pretty depressing Christmas song as well, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's a bouncy sort of tempo,
Yeah.
Susan. You know, it's
I
very
put on
Mud
here.
and,
Forgive
That
me, I know
keeps
you all
being
like this
played.
song, and this isn't. I do quite like. I put lumbering. That dun 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 dun. It's lumber. I'm not saying that's wrong, but as a because it was issued near Christmas, I think people thought I don't want to hear this at Christmas. It's too depressing.
It's a bit dour. I mean, the thing about Lonely This Christmas, when they Mud performed that, they performed it in a slightly humorous way. Do you know what I mean?
Tongue in cheek. Yeah.
Tongue in
Yeah.
cheek.
You had the ventriloquist doll, and
that doll was there because it is really hard to mime spoken words.
Yeah,
Richard,
yeah.
as a singer, you think about miming to a backing track, you've got a rhythm. When there's spoken words, you're just guessing. There's no musical rhythm to it. So that was Les Gray's idea. It was a brilliant idea. He said, well, I can't mime this bit. So it was his idea to get the doll. I thought that was quite brilliant.
Yeah.
It was 1975, Lonely This Christmas.
Oh, was it? Oh. Right.
Can anyone remember hearing Alone Again on the radio?
Vaguely. Not specifically, but vaguely.
No, I don't
no.
recall it, but
And that was when the radio meant something.
Well, Joe, I saw some airplay lists a while ago, and it only got a mention for a radio station in Scotland. I was quite shocked. So it sounds like it. I mean, those lists aren't comprehensive, but what it's saying is it just did not.
Well, they may have taken the view that it wouldn't have come across well on radio, and you can see
Oh, that's
why.
my argument too, Andy. I think so much stuff was so compressed at that time and loudish. I think it would
Got
have
lost,
just
yeah.
been lost, which is why I think for radio, the supersonic version would have been a better option. A couple more things about the song. It was written in March of that year.
Like all good Christmas songs are.
Yeah, well, there's more to that, Andy. And it originally wasn't a Christmas song because maybe a month before Love in the Sun was released, it was announced in one of the music papers as the next Glitter Band single. It was originally going to be the follow-up to Tears I Cried, which would have been released
Oh.
about in August.
Wow.
That's
I
a
wonder
shock,
if it had
isn't it?
that sort of sleigh belly thing on it. If it had been released, then do you think?
Well, Richard, we don't know. It may not have even been finished at that time. It was when Tears I Cried was leaving the charts, and I think the Glitter Band were doing a tour in New Zealand with Gary, so I suspect the PR people were thinking, okay, we've got to get a story in the music papers. So the story was Alone Again will be their next single, and that was before Love in the Sun. So, yeah, maybe what was released differs from possibly what was originally done.
Yeah.
Who knows? Now, Andy, as I think we mentioned at the start of the podcast, we've actually done both these podcasts in 3 days. So I would like to thank our guests very much for agreeing to do that,
Absolutely.
because unfortunately, due to time differences, daylight saving, summertime, what's it called in the US, Joe?
Pain in the ass.
So for those three reasons, we will not be doing one of these group podcasts for a while, which is such a shame. So Susan Shepherd, Susan, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I've enjoyed every second. Thank you.
Joe Swinford, thanks very much.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Been great. Great stuff. Thanks to everyone as well.
Big thank you to Richard Kenner.
Thank you to you, Warren, and everyone else. Been great. Look forward to speaking to you again.